Hey, I'm James from Smokin' Dad BBQ, and today we're making pork shoulders. I'm going to show you the whole process from start to finish. A few days ago we dry brined our shoulder, then we seasoned them, set up the Kamado Joe, and let them smoke. I'll walk you through all the steps. You're not going to want to miss this. Alright, we are ready to salt our pork shoulders. So a day or two before cooking them, if I have the time, I love to season them liberally with diamond kosher salt. This will just help really make a tender, flavorful, juicy pulled pork. Shreds really nice, holds lots of flavor. And so since we have some time, I'm going to show you this part of the process right now where we open these up, pat them dry, season them with our salt. And then we're going to put them in the fridge on this air rack for a few days so they have air circulating around them. That outside of the skin will start to dry up. And then when it comes time to put our final flavors on these, we'll use either mustard, hot sauce, or duck fat spray or something like that as a binder so that our rub adheres nicely to the outside. So let's go ahead and get these pork shoulders ready to go. Alright, so we seasoned those up really well. As you can tell, we used about 2/3 of this container of salt. So when I say liberally, we're definitely using lots, but these are big shoulders. So we've got about 12 pounds, 10-12 pounds here of pork, so they can take that. So that's going to draw in, pull out the moisture, and season deep down into the meat over the next few days. So I'm going to throw these in the fridge, and I'll see you in a couple days when we're ready to throw these on the Kamado Joe. Okay, so it's been about 3 days and our pork shoulders have been in the fridge dry brining with that diamond kosher crystal salt that we put on them. And as you can tell, these have changed color and they've become a little bit drier to the touch. They look wonderful. So we know that that salt has done its magic and seasoned the meat all the way through. So now I want to set up for our rub. So I'm going to use Hardcore Carnivore Black today. I think it's great on pulled pork. Not only do you get that nice looking bark on the outside, the seasoning is wonderful when you shred it all up and mix it together. So to get a little bit of a binder, I'm going to use my Frank's hot sauce. Just smear that all over these pork shoulders. Add on our rub, get them rubbed up really nice. And since these are a little bit loose, I've got a little bit more butcher twine where I'll truss them up at the end. And then we get ready to fire up the Kamado Joe in a little bit. So let's get these ready. Alright, so we've got our shoulders all seasoned up. I'm just going to wash up and get ready to truss them. As you can tell, we did a nice dent on this bottle of Hardcore Carnivore Black. So if you're ordering, I definitely recommend ordering in bulk since you do go through it, but end product is totally worth it. So I'm just going to clean up and then we'll tie these up, put them back in the fridge, and we get ready to fire up the Kamado Joe. Okay, these look great, ready to go in the fridge, and I'm going to set up the Kamado Joe for an indirect cook, low and slow. Alright, nighttime is the right time. We're going to set up the Kamado Joe Classic 3 using the SloRoller today. It's about 9 o'clock this evening here local time, so we're going to let these 2 pork shoulders run overnight. So I'm going to run a little bit slower than a hot and fast because we want them ready for lunch tomorrow. And that's including giving them a couple hours to rest. So everything's ready to go. Let's set up the Kamado Joe and fire it up. So in case you're what I'm doing here in the high speed, let me just slow down for a second and point out. So I've got 3 or 4 pieces of larger cherry chunks of wood. What I'm doing is I'm just nestling those at the bottom of my charcoal basket. So I want those right on the bottom of the charcoal basket. And then we're going to go ahead and cover them up with a bit more of our Kamado Big Block. And what that'll do is the fire burns slowly throughout the night. We'll get a smoldering smoke that lasts much longer than if we just throw those only on the top and they were to ignite right away. I'm still going to throw one on the top and let it ignite before we put on the pork, but I found this helps, especially when I'm not going to be awake, to add any additional smoke flavor throughout the night, that we get many hours of smoke. So I'll go back to high speed now. Always get a little bit more than I need, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove a few pieces. But another reason I love Kamado Joe Big Block, I mean, just look at the size of this stuff. Little logs, they burn forever, great smell, great taste. But we don't need this much. So this is just a Fogo fire starter. Lots of different options. I like these because they're really easy to light. They burn just long enough to get our charcoal started without too much heat or going out. So I'm going to go ahead and place this where we can still get some air, but underneath our big block, and start to let the Kamado Joe come up to temp. All right, we're just going to give that a couple of minutes, start to let the Kamado Joe come up to temperature. We'll pick you up when we're ready to slow it down. All right, I've gone ahead and added the extra piece of cherry that I had on top. So as you can see right now, we have not the color of smoke that we want coming out. This is brand new wood just starting to burn. This is white smoke. We want to wait till we see blue smoke. So I'm going to leave the camera on. I'll step out of the frame and speed it up just so you can see the change in the color of the smoke that we want when we get ready to put our food on. While we're waiting for that, I'll just walk you through the process that I like to follow for these long, slow, indirect cooks. So the first thing I like to do, as you saw, is start a fire right in the middle and try and aim that fire burning down, so that as it burns down and collapses, any of our extra charcoal just falls on top. I haven't overfilled the charcoal basket here. We don't need too much that starts to restrict airflow, and I've tried to build some larger chunks around the wood at our bottom, so we have a nice draft of air all the way through. The next thing that I'm looking for, and we're getting close here now, as we start to get some flames, is some temperature in the upper dome. So right now there's still no temperature in the dome, even though it's reading 250. I don't know if you can see that, but that's likely just because we have some flames that are starting to come up and kiss the thermometer. I'm okay with that. We're going to let that go for a couple minutes. One, it's igniting that piece of cherry wood that I put on top, so I want that fully warmed and lit, so we're not getting any bad smoke off of it. Two, before we add the rest of our SloRoller and our divide and conquer and eventually our meat, I want to get some of that temperature in the upper dome. As you can tell from my Burlington or Canadian dinner jacket here, it's cold. And so you can chase your temperatures a little bit if you don't set them up right. If I were to close this now to the dial position that I'd want, as it continued to warm up, then I'd be having to close it down. I might overreact, then I have to warm it back up. I found this method nearly bulletproof, for getting a nice, consistent low slow cook. So we're going to let the temperature come up a little bit higher than we want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the bottom draft door to about 2 fingers width. Then I'm going to close the top and leave the vent all the way open. And as the temperature starts to recover, I'll start closing that up and restricting more and more airflow till we get to about the 1 position on the control tower top. So we're now getting some temperature. It's reading just about 400 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of our plate setter and start shutting down the Kamado Joe into our low and slow heat setting. Alright, so as you saw, you can already see a change in the color of smoke. We've gone from that white billowy smoke to something that you can hardly see. That's because we're getting nice clean fire. We'll get a little bit more smoke as this slows down, but I've gone and closed the bottom vent draft door to about 2 fingers width, and I've left the top, and that's just again to continue that updraft and get the air moving and the fire burning in the way that we want. And then as this starts to recover temperature, I'll just keep adjusting until we land right at about 225, 250, which is where I want to cook these pork shoulders. So when this is all ready, I'll pick you back up and we'll put the meat on. All right, we're ready to go. So quick recap, what I did is let the temperature come. It was reading much higher than what we'd actually want. It read about 400 degrees. It's not a real 400 degrees. The dome was still completely cool. That was just some flames coming up and kissing the thermometer here. Then we closed it down to about 2 fingers width for airflow on the bottom, and then closed our control tower top, leaving it wide open. As we got closer to that 225, 250 that we wanted, I've just kept moving it closer and closer together to the point where about 2 fingers also on the top, and that'll be ready to ride all night long. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw these on, sign off for the night, and I'll see you in the morning, and we can check on how our pork shoulders are coming along. All right, till tomorrow. All right, good morning guys. It's been about 12 hours since we put on our pork shoulders. Kamado Joe has not moved from the temperature that I set it last night. Had a great night's sleep, didn't even need to come out and look at it once. Not that I know I didn't even use probes, it's just so steady, I don't need to worry about it anymore. So it's held 245 degrees or so for the last 12 hours. Let's take a look and see how our shoulders are. I think we're ready for FTC, and if you don't know what that is, I'm gonna show you the foil, towel, cooler method, and how we're going to keep this pork nice and warm for lunch later today. All right, let's take a look. Oh, those look beautiful. Of course, they're not burnt. That's just the hardcore carnivore black seasoning that we did makes them look a little bit blacker. Plus, that cherry smoke has set in. Just going to go ahead and probe for tenderness. So just look at that. Nice. Nice. Okay, so these are done. Reading about 207 to 213, depending on where I hit there. So let's get these off and wrap them in foil. All right, to make it easy to handle, this pork will be really hot, so the heat would go right through these gloves. Little trick if you haven't seen this before is just to get some cotton oven gloves. Slide those on, and then use these disposable nitrile or latex gloves, whatever you have handy, and that just keeps them clean and food safe. So now we'll be able to handle our pulled pork, no problem, and lift it onto the foil and wrap it up tight, and then we'll wrap the foil pack with a towel and stuff that in our cooler behind me. All right, it doesn't get much easier than that. 12 hours, set it, forget it, come back and we've got some delicious pulled pork. So that's gonna rest in the foil, in the towels, and the cooler for about 3 hours. We've got a big group of family coming over for the holidays. So we're gonna shred that up a little bit later, so I won't be able to show you that, but I can just tell from the feel of it, it's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna be adding a segment to the end of these videos where I answer your questions. So if you have a question, let me know in the comments or shoot me an email. I'd be happy to do some fan mail at the end of each video. And if you liked what you saw today, please hit that like button and hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell to catch future videos. Thanks everyone for watching.